gonna be the while loop syntax and then example code in this video. So our previous video was when we were looking at the for loop and the for in loop. So let me clear everything in here. So what's the difference between the for loop and then this while loop we're gonna look at now? So the difference is pretty much simple. Okay, the while loop, is normally used when the programmer or you developing the application, you don't really know the number of times, you don't know the number of time your program is gonna iterate. So you don't know the number of times your program it's gonna iterate, okay, or your program it's gonna what, loop, right? And then this while loop normally have a way of checking the condition before the program execute. So for the while loop syntax, so let's say this is a while loop syntax, okay. So let's watch here. How do we write a while loop syntax? It's very easy, using what we call the while keyword, while, and then we have the conditional expression here. So condition will be here inside this side. So here condition is here, and then we have the curly bracket in here. Inside the curly bracket we have your code, right? So you put in your code here, okay. Oh, put your code here. Oh, and then here we have the increment or the decrement counter, okay. So increment or the decrement counter beneath the what, your print out statement or your code. So let me add a decrement counter right here, okay. So this is basically the syntax. So if we look, the while keyword begins, your condition is inside this round bracket, then inside the curly bracket you have your code here, that is your print out, and then you have your increment, and then what, the decrement counter, that is the one I plus plus and the others. Good. So let me comment this, and then we have a quick example of what we are talking about in this syntax. So beneath here we're gonna use the same number count as an example for this what, while loop as well. So let's begin with our initialization, that is var, and then var we have var I is equal to 1. Let's start counting from 1, okay. We can also start counting from 0, that's going to be 0 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 10, but let's start counting from 1. So we have the while keyword here, okay, make sure you spell it correctly, and then we have the condition as I said earlier on. So the condition is if I is less or equal to, so let's watch, is less or equal to 10, then we're gonna have our what, our code, and then the increment beneath our what, double closing bracket, okay. So in here we have our code here, or our print out, and then print what, I, then I terminate this statement. Next is our increment or our decrement statement. So we say I plus plus, and then we terminate this as well. So this is pretty much simple, huh? So let's run, and then it says what, error in line 16. Line 16 error, while is equal to dot. the dot here is not supposed to be here, so I take that one off. So let's run again. Okay, good. All right, perfect. So this is the while loop implementation of our number count. So we start from 1, so you see 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 9 10. So if we start the counter from 0, then it's actually going to start from 0 1 2 3, just like that. But it make 0, so it make more sense to start with 1. Okay, good. What if we also want to use the while loop to check for our even numbers? We also employ the if else statement, just like what we did for the for loop. So we add the if statement here, and then we're gonna have a condition here as well. So we say I sorry, when I is divisible by 2 and then is equal to 0, then you should print out our what. So here the print out should be inside this curly braces here. Here I copy this and then I paste it in here. Okay, so we have our print statement here. Let me bring it down so that we can actually see the code. Then we have our increment. The increment is actually beneath the if statement. So after this condition, you have your code inside your if condition, and after the if condition you need to have your increment in here. So let me run the code and then you should see our even what. Yeah, so as you can see, we print the 2 4 6 8 and then 10. All right, so I'm gonna save this. Good. So this is virtually the same as what we did in the for loop, and then we're going to do this the same thing in the while loop. So we have the while, the condition, and we have the if. The if is also having a condition before the statement and then the increment. Good. So this is going to be the end of the video, and we're going to continue with the other conditional statements. All right.